All right, so today we learned about finding area of rectangles with fractional side lengths, but we added something else to it. And we added, what would happen if we tiled a kitchen floor or a box or a wall using tiles that were smaller than a square unit? So I'm going to go over what we did in class to help you maybe remember things for your homework that might help. So the very first thing that we discovered in class was, and let me move back to my flip chart here, and it was simply something like this, that if we had a half foot by a half foot, then we could fit 4 half foot by half foot tiles into one whole square foot. Okay, I could put 2 half foot tiles this way, and I could put another 2 half foot by half foot tiles this way, so I could fit actually 4 of those in there. And we discovered you could just multiply your denominators to figure out how many tiles could fit into 1 square foot. So half foot by half foot, 2 times 2 would be 4, so you could fit 4 in there. If they were 1/3 by 1/3, that means I could put 3 that way, and I could also fit 3 down this way. So if I ended up with a 3 by 3, then I could fit 9 squares with a side length of 1/3 of a foot into 1 square foot. 3 times 3 is 9. So then if I would have a square foot here, okay, so from here to here is 1 foot, and from here to here is 1 foot. My question now is sorry about that, how many 1/4 by 1/4 foot tiles would I need to fill in 1 square foot? So if I was using 1/4 foot by 1/4 foot, okay? And a common mistake that 5th graders always think is they see that 1/4 and they're like, oh, it takes 4 of them to get to 1, so it will take 4 tiles, only 4 can fit. Well, that's not true. Remember, what we discovered is that 4 half-foot by half-foot tiles fit 1 square foot. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 was 9, so 9 1/3 by 1/3 foot tiles fit 1 square foot. So if I have 1/4 foot by 1/4 foot tiles, okay, that means I can fit 4 of those tiles going this way, and I could also fit 4 of those tiles going this way. So I actually end up with a 4 by 4, so I can actually fit 16 1/4 by 1/4 foot tiles. So 16 1/4 foot by 1/4 foot tiles actually fit in 1 square foot here, okay? So 4 times 4 is 16, okay? So one of these tiles is actually 1/16 of a square foot. So moving on to our journal page, and what we were talking about is this, okay? So Anna is covering the top of her jewelry box with glass tiles that are 1/2 inch long and 1/2 inch wide. The top of the jewelry box is 3.5 inches by 2 inches. I first want to know how many tiles will she need to cover the top of the box. Use the picture to help. Well, they kind of give you these tick marks to help us tile things with, so I'm going to use those. And I'm going to use my straight line tool here to help me. Okay, so the important thing to remember is that she's not using whole 1 inch square, she's not using 1 square inch tiles. She's using 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch tiles. So I'm first going to just tile this here. So if I tile her jewelry box using 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch tiles, I can see I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles the long way. So I can fit 7 tiles this way. Okay, should have an E there. 7 tiles. Okay, so this is 3.5 inches long, but I could fit 7 tiles because each tile is a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch long. And then down here, I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles here. So my first question is just simply asking me, how many total tiles am I going to need to cover her jewelry box? Well, I'm going to need, if it's 7 by 4 with tiles, I'm going to need 28 tiles, because 7 times 4 is 28. Now the question is, how many of Anna's tiles does it take to cover 1 square inch? Well, the key here is that she's using half-inch by half-inch tiles. So if I would draw a model over here of a square, okay, and that's 1 square inch, and this is 1 square inch, that's 1 inch that way, 1 inch that way, and I'm using half-inch by half-inch tiles. That means I can fit 2 that way, but I can also fit 2 that way, so it's actually going to take me 4 tiles just to cover 1 square inch, okay? Remember, 2 times 2 is 4. And I can show that here, okay? So there's 1 square inch, there's 2 square inches, there's 3 square inches, and it totally makes sense. Remember, that side length's 3.5 inches long, so 1, 2, 3, and then I have another half over here. 2 tiles here makes a half. So I can label that 1, 2, 3, and then that would be another half there, okay? So I'll even label that as 3.5, okay? And then I got another one, full one, another full one here, another full one here. So I got 4.5, 5.5 square inches, 6.5 square inches, and then I have another half inch here, so that gets me 7 square inches, okay? So the total square inches, it took her 28 tiles to tile, but the total square inches in a rectangle is 7 square inches. And you could have just thought about it too. 28 divided by 4, okay, equals 7, okay? If it took her 28 tiles to cover the whole box and it took 4 tiles just to get to 1 square inch, then 28 divided by 4 is 7. I could have also used my area formula to help me with this. 3.5 times 2, okay? Remember, if we want to know just the area in square inches, just look at your side lengths. 3.5 times 2, okay? 3.5 2 times equals 7 inches squared, okay? So the tricky part in this lesson is just thinking if they're using tiles that are less than a square inch or a square foot or a square meter, so in this case they were using half-inch by half-inch tiles, think about how many tiles it would take to get to 1 square inch. In this case, if they're using half-inch by half-inch, it would be 4 tiles, okay? Because I have 2 going one way, I could fit 2 going down the other way, so 2 times 2 is 4, okay? A lot of you want to say it's 2, but that's not the case. It'd be 4 fits 1 square inch, okay? Hope that helps. Hope that helps you with your homework a little bit. Have a good night.